So being an entrepreneur, especially if you've built companies at scale, is both a gift and a curse. And here's what I mean by that is, the definition of entrepreneurship is creating, and becoming a creator means that you see opportunities around you that other people might not see. The challenge is most of those opportunities is things or different areas that need improvement, areas of improvement, friction, frustrations in people's lives. So what's interesting is most people that don't create businesses go around the world and they just kind of interact with the world, and they get their car cleaned, and they get dressed in the morning, and they keep going through life. And other entrepreneurs like myself, we unfortunately have the, privilege and frustration of seeing opportunity all around us. When I go in, for example, I go into, a store in the mall, every aspect, my brain just goes into analyzing their merchandising, analyzing the staff, how many staff they have on the floor, what's that overhead cost, I know what they're paying per month. Like, I analyze the business. It's just because that's what I do in my other businesses. So it's just my brain continuously flexing that muscle has become this problem-seeking missile. And it can be frustrating for people that work with me, my family members, because when people come to me, I'm always like, have you ever thought of this? And they're like, why can't you just appreciate the way it is? And I'm like, I know, but I see this thing and I just want to make things better. So, if you're trying to build that muscle, I'm excited for you, because it is this thing that once you create, it can bring incredible value to your life and your business, because you can create, resources and wealth and all this stuff. But you also need to learn to turn it off. Okay, so I just want to say that I'm going to teach you how to develop the muscle, but with great strength comes great responsibility, as Spider-Man would say. Just know that it's both a blessing and a curse, but let's get into it. The first strategy is frustration list. So he talks about developing your ideal muscle, and his suggestion is to start to create a frustration list. And the way he explains it, he does a way better articulation of how to do this. I can't even say it properly, but his idea is that you want to keep a notepad and you want to write down, or you can do it on your phone. You want to write down things that frustrate you. So most people find this weird. They're like, well, nothing frustrates me. It's like, I'm talking about, go around your house. Think about items that are misplaced, things that you have to do several times. So maybe, it can be as simple as, cleaning up your closet, and you're frustrated because you don't have a hook for whatever. So you write that down, hook for bath towel, or, I have a hot tub and the towels aren't next to the hot tub. So I might get dressed, come downstairs, have to go all the way. I know, first world problems, I get it, champagne problems. I'm not an idiot, I get it, but I'm just telling you little examples. So what would be a good example is a towel hook or a towel station next to the door right in front of the hot tub, as an example. But it could be like organizing your garage. Maybe you're like, well, why are all the bikes just all over the place? Maybe they need to be hooks on the wall. And then it's all these things you write down, okay? And the idea is you want to start teaching yourself to look for these frustration moments in your life. Things that don't feel like they're as well structured, maybe things are out, not organized. Maybe your closet isn't organized, you want to buy an organizer. If you think about every product that's sold at your hardware station or hardware store, or software that's built online, they were all built because somebody felt the frustration or perceived a frustration in the market and they wanted to build a better way. You need to start building that list, building that muscle, looking for those opportunities in your daily life, around your house, maybe in your office, your workspace, in your commutes, on your weekends. I want you to keep adding to your frustration list. Don't edit yourself. Don't slow down and say, well, that's not a good idea. Just write as much as you can. And here's the kicker, is try to start tackling some of these. Start fixing some of these frustrations and look at it as like entrepreneurial training, like Navy SEAL training for the entrepreneurial mind, the building of the muscle. Just take action to get some of those items off the list. And through that process, you never know, you might build the next thing that ends up on the podcast, because you might be the next X, Y, and Z company that builds the next thing that just takes off into $1 billion company. So frustration list. Number 2, idea machine. So I want you to become an idea machine. I think just the idea of writing down 10 things, 10 ideas for businesses. And he says every day he themes it. So it could be like 10 books I could write, 10 businesses I could start, 10 problems in the world that need to be solved. It's just every day, I think he's been doing this for years, he writes down 10 things to build that idea machine, to then use that like I said earlier, to see if there's opportunities around us to build businesses. Number 3, gratefully driven. So, like I said at the beginning, the gift and the curse is that some people, if all you're doing is looking for problems to solve in the world, is think that you don't appreciate what you have, okay? So this is an idea I made up because I had to explain to my friends that the way I look at it is I'm ridiculously driven. If you know me, I'm just very driven, like intense, and I'm okay with that. And in the same sentence, I'm ridiculously grateful for everything I have in this world, and I don't take it for granted for 1 second. And I call it gratefully driven because if you want to build your idea muscle, there's a part of your brain that won't want to do this because it feels like you're not grateful or you don't appreciate things, and it has nothing to do with that. So here's the thing is you want to be grateful in the same sense. I want to be grateful for everything I have and the people in my life and my health and all that stuff. Grateful. You can be grateful. And then in the second breath, you want to be driven towards what's possible. The future that you could create. Grateful for what you have and everything that's ever been brought into your life. The good and the bad, honestly. I'm grateful for everything. And then driven towards the possibility for your life. If you can have those two thoughts, because they are not the same, they're separate things. They're two truths that can be true at the same time. That is how we release the mental scripts that could actually be holding you back from coming up with ideas and building the better version of yourself, because there's a conflict, okay? So I want you to be gratefully driven. I want you to think about that it is okay to look for problems to fix and things that are wrong and broken in the world as opportunities, and still appreciate everything you have because you woke up today in a warm bed and you had a cold glass of water that was clean and you have a bathroom that works and all those things. I get that. But we want to be driven towards what you know is possible for your future.